Good afternoon, everyone. It is another Saturday, and this is the Otumba Adams Show. You all are welcome wherever you are, either you're here in Nigeria or you are in any part of the world. My name is Adam Solofimilajide, and you're welcome. All right, so how has your day been? How has the Saturday been? Did you get to go for a wedding or you went for an event or you've been waiting for me to come live so that you'll be able to learn something tangible again today? All right, so this currently is 4:35 p.m. and if you're watching live, please say hello and let me know where you are from so that I'll be able to give you a shout out before I go right into what I have for today. If you're actually wondering what this whole program is about, I talk about entrepreneurship. I talk about business. I talk about leadership, which is one of the topics that I'll be tracing today, and every other thing that could actually help you in your life and also in your entrepreneurial world. All right. So on today's episode, we are looking at what makes servant leadership the best form of leadership. That is what I'll be tracing today. I can see someone watching me right now. Please say hello to me so that I would know that I am not alone, as Liverpool would say. All right. So over the time or over time, I've actually had to discuss the different types of leadership styles that are out there, right? And on today's episode, I'll be focusing more on the servant leadership and probably talking about why it is one of the best ways of leadership. And those who, or the great people that we know that have made names for themselves, actually used this style of leadership to to lead other people, and then over time their names were or is known, rather their name is known all over the world, and that's about that. Anyway, there are certain attributes that make such servant leaders to be outstanding, and those attributes, those characteristics, are the things that I would be talking about and looking at today. All right. So number one on my list is they are self-aware. There's a saying that goes thus that man know thyself, meaning that for you to be able to lead other people, you need to first of all know the type of person that you are. You need to know what your strengths are. You need to know what your weaknesses are. Literally, you need to do a SWOT analysis on yourself, right? Like you are looking at yourself in the mirror, and then you are like, okay, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities that from myself, from within me, I can actually bring forth? And then what are the threats? What are the things that could actually hinder me to becoming a better person? Now, when you're able to do this, you would be able to know how you can navigate your life in such a way that you would get people that you, or probably people, part of the people that you have that are following you, right, would be people who can actually cover up for your weaknesses, right, while your stronger part is out there. All right. So a servant leader knows all this, and they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, they know that okay, this is the thing that actually makes me to be vulnerable, and these are the things that I can actually put in place such that I would not or my vulnerability would not be shown to the world. All right, so that's the first part. You need to be self-aware, know all the attributes that you have, both the good and the bad, and eventually you would learn to work on those parts that you really are not so good at. The second part is they are good communicators. All right. Servant leaders are great communicators. They do not just assume things, right? They learn to talk to their subordinates. They learn to talk to their team members. They learn to listen to them, because it is one thing for you to just dole out instructions. If you do not listen to people around you, if you do not pay attention to the things that are happening and then ask questions, right? One of the things that I realized about a lot of people is that especially some leaders, right? They, while you're talking, while you're trying to pass something across to them, they are not listening to treat the matter at hand. They are just listening so that they can respond, meaning that they are not even listening to the context of what you're saying. It is what they have at the back of their mind that they just want to say. But a great leader who is a servant leader would learn to listen to the people around him and then learn to communicate accordingly. He would ask questions to confirm what was said and not just assume what has been said, right? If somebody says A, you ask the person, are you trying to say this? Just to be sure, just to gain clarity. It is very, very important as if you want to be a servant leader, it's a very important characteristics. Communication is key wherever you are, even if you are not a leader, even if it is between yourself and a friend, or probably like yourself and a partner. Communication is very, very important. You do not listen just to respond. You listen to understand what the person is trying to communicate to you, and then ask questions for clarity, and then you move forward from there. All right. So that's the second characteristics of servant leaders. The next one is they are very, very humble, right? Humility is at the core of their lifestyle, right? Check every leader who literally is the type of leader that you love, then you would see that like they are humble to the core. Now, humility doesn't mean that like they are stupid. Humility doesn't mean that like they would take certain things, right? They would never take disrespect, but they know their capacity, they know what they can do, but despite that, they still bring themselves low and try to like lift um those following them up, right? It goes to show that like they want the best for their people. Humility is very, very important if you really, really want to go far as a leader, especially as a servant leader. You need to learn to be humble. We know that like you probably have all the certificates in the world, but when it comes to leadership, people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care, which is very, very important. All right. Humility should be at your very core. Moving on to the next point, I have they see far. They are visionaries, right? There's a saying that in Yoruba that like what the youth or what a child will see standing up, the elders will see sitting down. Meaning that like they have experienced a lot in life. They see far. So when you see a leader who has the servant leadership style going on for him, right? You would realize that like they are always thinking ahead. They're always like asking themselves, they're like, so what is the next thing that we can do right now? They are never complacent. They're never like relaxed. They're like, okay, we've come to our play two. We are not doing anything anymore. No, they don't. They don't think that way. They see far. They go far. They walk. They talk. They just don't talk. They walk the talk, which is very, very important. If you want to be one, also, you have to learn to always see ahead. Before Walt Disney died, right? He already had the vision for the Disney world, right? That park where every kid can come and play and have fun. Now, he wasn't alive when it was launched, but he had that vision. He could see far. So also in anything that you're doing, how far can you see? Are you just saying for now, right? Is it just for what you can gain right now? Or are you trying to like see into the future, into 10 generations from yourself, into 20 generations from yourself? Because if you're not thinking far, believe you me, you are not going to be a servant leader. You do not, or your legacy most likely will not even live long. So learn to see far, learn to like be that type of leader that actually wants things to go or to transcend beyond just your own generation to other generations to come. All right. So that's number 4 on the list. Number 5 on the list is they love feedbacks. They love feedback. Now, it is one thing for you to like what's the word, to do certain things in certain ways, right? And if other people around you do not love it, and then nobody can actually walk up to you to tell you that like, hey, excuse me, sir, you are actually not right with this thing, you are doing this thing the wrong way. If nobody can talk to you as a leader, then trust me, you are heading towards destruction. You must be able to like take back feedbacks. You must be able to take back constructive criticism. Now, you need to know when somebody is trying to pull you down and when somebody is trying to like help you to become better. All right. You should be able to like learn to listen and then ask them, what do you feel we can actually do better in this particular aspect? Now, you might feel that like what you know is the best, but when other people start to give their own point of view, you would then realize that like, hey, it is better that like we do things as a group, right? You listen to the feedback and then you walk that way, because there are times when you feel that like, okay, what you know is the best path, right? And then you walk in it, even though you might be right. But for the fact that like you did not listen to the people around you, it goes to show that like you are selfish, and those people will start pulling back because they would always feel that like, well, the days that like we are going to be right, he will still not listen to us. So there's still not going to be any point. Okay. So learn to get feedback from people, learn to listen to people, and then act on those feedbacks that have been given to you. All right. That's number 5. Number 6, moving on, is the mentor, right? If you're going to be a leader, then you have to like live by example. And living by example means that like you are mentoring people, you're showing people that like this is how it is meant to be done, using your own lifestyle, using your own work ethics as a yardstick for them to follow. All right. So you need to show people how it is done. You don't just tell people that like, hey, don't you know how this thing is done? Some people most likely will not even realize what you're talking about. They might never have had the same experience that you have had. It is your own duty as a leader to show them the path, right? Show them the example. This is how it is done, right? Don't just assume that like everybody should know what is meant or what they are meant to do. Not everybody knows that. Even if they know, right, it is your own duty also to encourage them that like, hey, you're doing a fantastic job, but actually you could do it better. Okay. Don't rest on your oars rather, and push forward, right? Be better. You can do much more than what you're doing right now. Mentor them. It is very, very important. And in mentorship, you have to learn to encourage them. You have to learn to like give them constructive criticism. You have to learn to like take them by the hand and walk them through the process that you actually want them to do, because when you do that for them, they also would follow in your footstep. But if you just tell them that like, hey, go and do this thing, and then like they don't know how to do it, they've told you that they don't know how to do it, and then you bring them down with your words that like, can't you learn? Can't like why are you even in this organization? Why are you even in this team if you feel that like you cannot perform your duty properly? No, don't do that. Okay, learn to mentor them, learn to like bring them up to par to your own level, because when they now get to that level that like you are at, when they supersede you, or when they go ahead of you, right, they also would help you to get to that level that they also are, because you started off that chain of reaction by showing them how true leadership should be. All right. That's number 6, the mentor. Then number 7 is the delegate responsibilities. One of the things that like a servant leader does is that like he doesn't try to like handle it all, right? Remember, I said something about the first point, that they are aware of the type of person they are. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. Now, where they know that like they cannot deliver at their very best, they give other people to do it. Now, remember, mentorship, they've already shown them how to do it. Then they let them do it themselves. Now, I have seen some leaders whereby like they give responsibilities to people and they still end up taking that same responsibility and then doing it themselves. It should not be. See, you're going to burn out, you're going to wear yourself out, and it's not really worth it. Okay. Learn to delegate responsibilities to people. Learn to trust them enough to be able to like carry out the duty. Now, they may not be able to like give you their very best, but when you encourage them, when you show them like, yes, you've done a fantastic job here, however, you could do it better next time, it would encourage them. It would make them feel that like, yes, this person actually trusts us, and they would want to go out of their way to please you. All right. So don't do it all. You're not a superhuman. Even Superman has his down times, right? Even superhumans, or like if you watch all these movies and all these Marvel characters and DC characters, they all have their down times, even though they are superheroes, right? Delegate responsibilities to other people. It's very, very important. And then the last but not least point on my list is they are constantly growing. All right. As a leader, as a servant leader, you cannot be stagnant at any given point in time. Till you die, you have to keep learning. You have to keep growing. You have to keep reading books. You have to keep attending seminars. You have to keep asking people questions that like, how can I become better than what I am today? It is very, very important. If you want to grow as a leader, you need to what? You need to learn. You need to like get materials for yourself. You need to build yourself, because it's not going to be right for somebody to have left you, say, for 5 years, and then like after 5 years they come around and they still see you on that same spot. It goes to show that like your leadership style is the type that like you just assume that, well, we have arrived, there's nothing else that we need to conquer. There's always something new that you can learn. There's always something new, or there's always new worlds rather that you can actually conquer. So learn to grow as a leader. Do not stop growing, because if your followers see that like you are always upgrading, then they would want to also be like you. Now, recently in my church, my pastor's wife, who also is my pastor, right, was saying something that like at the age of 50 something, close to 60, she is going back to school to learn, to study law. And I was like, wow, okay, this is someone that like she could have said that like, okay, I have arrived, I have gotten to my peak, I don't really have to do anything, I have grandchildren already, they're growing old, they should just come and visit me, and they're like, we'll just be playing and singing kumbaya. No, she is growing, which is an encouragement to a lot of women out there that are actually looking up to her, because they were like, if this woman could actually do it at this age, then what am I also doing with my life? All right, as a leader, you need to learn to grow. It is very, very important. All right, I've started at 8 points. I can see somebody who has commented. Akishaya Joy said that I learned to mentor and delegate responsibilities. Thank you. All right. So with these points that I have given, I have actually come to the end of today's episode. I hope you've been able to learn something. I'll quickly take the points from start again. Number one is they are self-aware. Number two is they are good communicators. Number three is they are humble. Number four is they see far. Number five is they love feedbacks. Number six is they mentor. Number seven is they delegate responsibilities. And the very last point is they are constantly growing. If you want to become a servant leader, please make sure that like you imbibe all these characteristics that I have said today and let them work in your life. This brings us to the end of today's episode, and it's really, really a pleasure having you guys today. Please make sure to like and share this video with your friends, with your loved ones, and maybe even your enemies. All right, I'll see you guys again rather next week. And as I always say, be the best version God has created you to be. From myself, have a great evening. Bye-bye.